Hello, welcome back to Retirement Clarity Radio. I am your host, Scott Newhouse. Shout out to you and the dozens and dozens of other listeners all across the country who are tuning into this podcast. Really appreciate you being here. Now, if you've listened to the previous 3 episodes, we've really dived into retirement expenses, and today we're going to be transitioning into retirement income. So today's episode, got to give you a little warning, it's going to be a short one, and we're really just going to talk about what are the different sources of retirement income that you could have in retirement. And then in future episodes, the next 3 or 4 episodes, we're going to be talking about how to distribute income from your retirement assets. So how are we going to get income from the assets that you have in retirement? And I am going to be working off of a worksheet that I created called a retirement income worksheet, where it's got all of this laid out in writing. If you want to go through it on your own, you can download this for free at the website retirementworksheets.com. So again, just go to retirementworksheets.com and then you can download this worksheet, the retirement income worksheet, as well as all the other worksheets that I've created and put up for free on my website. So just go to retirementworksheets.com. So all that said, let's get into today's episode. The first thing that we need to do in terms of our retirement income is figure out what income you and your family want to spend in retirement. So that's a little bit harder for me to tell you exactly what you want to spend in retirement. So I do encourage you and your spouse and your family to think through of what is your ideal spending amount in retirement. So that's the very first thing that we need to do. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract different categories of where you can expect to get income from in retirement. And then that's going to help us make sure that you have all of the assets and the income that you need to meet that retirement income goal that you have. So again, top line, very first thing we're going to do is we're going to write down a annual income dollar amount that you want to spend in retirement. Then we're going to subtract some things. So the first thing that we're going to subtract is, and this might be a little funny to say, is your earned income. Yes, some people actually do want to work in retirement. They want to contribute maybe in a part-time way. Maybe they want to do some kind of consulting for the previous company or industry that they've been in before. Obviously, it's not a requirement, but some people do want to have some kind of work, meaningful work in retirement. So that's the first thing that we're going to subtract, and that's our earned income. The second thing that we're going to subtract from that total dollar amount that we need in retirement is your Social Security benefit, as well as any pension income that you may receive. Most people do not have pension income, but I actually do work with a number of people who do. So if you have that, that's wonderful. We'll use that to subtract from that total annual income amount as well. And then we're going to subtract whatever your Social Security benefit is going to be for yourself and for your spouse if they're going to have a benefit as well. Now, just as a quick aside, we've talked about Social Security in more depth in a previous episode. But your Social Security for most people is going to grow between the ages of 62 and 70. And it's typically going to, increase by around 8% per year. So we just want to consider, when it makes sense to take your Social Security benefits with, in mind that it's going to grow if you can delay it by around 8% per year. And again, if you do not have your Social Security benefit amount, I highly, highly recommend that you do that. And if you're within 5 years of retiring, I think you should do that today. Just search for Social Security account statement, and then that should take you to a government website where you just fill in some information and they'll get you your benefit amounts all the way ranging from 62 all the way up until age 70. So that's the third and fourth things that we need to consider: Social Security and pension income. Next is we have non-retirement asset income. So do you have any rental real estate, rental properties that you're going to get an income from in retirement? Do you have any royalties? And then also, do you have any non-retirement investment accounts? So again, this category is the non-retirement asset income. So rental properties, royalties, and any non-retirement investment accounts that you can make distributions from to get this retirement income that you need. The next thing that we need to consider is any potential inheritance that you may have coming your way. I know a lot of folks that I work with, they're in their 50s and 60s, and sadly their parents are, close to the end of their life. And so, we want to consider, and we don't necessarily have to factor this into your plan if you don't want to factor into it. If you want to just assume that your, parents or your family is going to spend all their money, that's fine. But if you do think you will receive anything, I just want you to ask, what's a realistic amount? Probably be a little conservative on that amount, and then we can figure out, how much income is that going to generate for you from that specific dollar amount that you receive. And then the last thing that I have for us is, what income are you going to be able to get from your retirement accounts? So what kind of distribution strategies can you take from your IRAs or your 401k or 403b, etc., to get the income that you need in retirement? And so again, the whole strategy here is, at the very first step, we're going to figure out what that annual dollar amount that you need. Maybe it's $80,000 a year, and then you're going to subtract all of these items that we've just went over: your earned income, Social Security and pension income, non-retirement asset income, inheritance income, and then income from retirement accounts. And then we're going to get to and then we subtract all those, and then we should come to a final result, which is, how much remaining income do you need? Hopefully it's going to be less than zero, i.e. a negative number. In that case, all your assets and investment income in retirement is going to meet the living expenses that you want to live off of. If there's still a gap, if there's still a positive number, then we just, we need to make a plan to make sure that we can get your income where it needs to be to match up your expenses. So maybe you can lower your expenses, maybe work just a little bit longer, maybe save a little bit before you retire, save a little bit more than what you're doing right now to hit your retirement goal. And that's kind of the big picture roadmap that I would encourage you to go through in terms of figuring out if your retirement assets are going to be able to fulfill the retirement income that you need. Now, I know I did not get into any specifics in this episode, and that was by intention, because in the next few episodes we're going to be talking about how can you get income from these various assets that you have. So maybe a house, maybe it's your investment portfolios. Some people don't love these, but maybe a reverse mortgage towards the end of your life. These are all different things that we need to consider in terms of income strategies in retirement, and that's what we're going to cover in the next 3 to 4 episodes. So that's all we've got for today. I said it would be short. I stayed true to my word. Make sure you like and subscribe this podcast so you can come back as we talk about distribution strategies from your investment accounts, rental real estate, reverse mortgage, and other income strategies that you want to consider in retirement. And again, if you want to pick up this worksheet as well as all the other worksheets that I've created for free, just go to retirementworksheets.com. Again, retirementworksheets.com. So again, thanks for joining in, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Thanks again for listening. As a reminder, you should consult with a financial advisor familiar with the specific circumstances of your unique financial situation before making any financial decisions. Nothing in this podcast is a solicitation for the sale or purchase of any securities. Any mentions of rate of return are hypothetical in nature and not a guarantee of future returns. Scott Newhouse, CFP, is an investment advisor representative of Forthright Finances, a California and Nevada registered investment advisor.